In recent years, we have seen the rise in number of Chinese businessmen and women who come and invest in Africa. And there is one attribute that stands out among the Chinese, and that's their brilliant ability to save money. This reputation as phenomenal money savers precedes the Chinese everywhere they go in the world. And I, being African, I want to see whether you and I can learn some good financial habits from the Chinese and apply it to our own financial journey. As always, remember to do your own research and concentrate on your own personal finance journey. There are a few cultures who are known around the world for their money-saving habits or frugality. One can point out the Jewish community as belonging in the same category. How about we Africans? Traditionally, our relationship with money has been different and reserved for the chosen few who dominated businesses and occupied top government jobs. If today, modern Africa is different. There is more access to information with a whole generation of youth who are technically savvy. I insist that we can learn from others, especially those who are ahead of us, whether you are in the motherland or in the diaspora. You're watching African Boss, so sit back and relax as we dive into this topic. On here, we discuss business, finance, technology, and geopolitics from an African perspective. So please like and subscribe this channel. We are aiming for 10,000 subscribers. As we are talking about China, I will sidetrack a little and mention that China's economy has been in the news lately. Not for a good reason, as everyone is talking about the impending collapse of the Chinese economy. China is a global superpower with the second largest economy in the world and Africa's biggest financer by far. I have discussed the economic implications for Africa and the world if the Chinese economy was indeed to collapse. Scroll around the channel and check out that video and others. Pre-pandemic stats for gross savings rate for China and USA were compared and shown to be remarkably different. That is basically a comparison of how much people in a country save per $100. For China, it was nearly $50, while for the USA, it was only $5. I was watching Humphrey Yang while researching for this topic, and he brought up a video clip of a Chinese comedian discussing the way the Chinese view money. And here is the clip.
The biggest holiday for Chinese people, Chinese New Year. When we see each other during Chinese New Year, the way we greet each other is we say 恭喜发财 or 恭喜发财 in Cantonese. I'm sure you've heard that, at least peripherally, right? 恭喜发财, 恭喜发财. 恭喜发财 means hope you get rich. That's not Happy New Year.
It seems the Chinese have somehow an obsession for money, where their lives revolve around how much money you earn or how much money you make or spend. In Africa, an obsession for money, however, is not something we say loudly. Maybe because we grew up with lessons such as the love of money is not good. I'll stop there. However, in reality, everyone is looking for money. I don't advocate for developing an obsession for money, but however, we can develop a healthy relationship with money. Culture plays an important role in the way people look at money. Of course, cultures are different, worldwide that is. Although in my view, African cultures are closer to the Asian cultures rather than, say, the Western cultures. At the core of it, our cultures are family orientated, whereas the Western cultures are focused more on individuals rather than the community. So learning finances from similar cultures with similar histories is more practical. But the question is, why are the Chinese good at saving money? There are a few reasons why a society or a country can become good at saving money. A little bit of a historical context. China as a country has earned the Chinese economic miracle tag for its rapid economic growth over a short period of time. To get to this, the Chinese had been through some of the toughest conditions the world has ever seen, and saving every penny was essential for their survival. By listening to their stories, advice and examples, the modern Chinese generations have retained some principles of saving money. Obviously, China is huge, and not everyone falls into this category. In the 1980s, China under paramount leader Deng Xiaoping implemented the one-child policy to curb population explosion after the population exceeded the 1 billion mark. This policy has since been abandoned, but its effects are likely to remain for a long time. One of the consequences of this policy was preference for a baby boy. Families did everything they could to have a baby boy who would then carry their name forever. I had a friend from China who was abandoned as a baby and later adopted by an overseas family. At the time, she was so surprised that I was shocked and I was not aware of this part of history about China. In any case, the preference to having a baby boy led to skewed population demographics. For every 100 women, there were 120 men. So obviously the competition was high for a man to get a bride, and money became central to a man getting a bride. In most cases, they had to prove that they could afford a house, an apartment. This means the parents had to save or start saving once the child was born. So this becomes ingrained in the culture over time. Chinese kids today are trained to save up money from a young age. It is not uncommon to find toddlers with a piggy bank where they put their coins. The children are giving cash gifts in red envelopes and they end up saving that money. The red envelopes are iconic symbols of the Chinese New Year, birthdays, weddings, and other milestones. So the lesson here is start saving money early on in life, or if you have little ones, start teaching them early to save money. It is a habit that bodes well for your financial future. Our schools don't teach us money habits while we're young, so why not start at home and early? I think this is a very helpful concept to apply to our situations. If you leave it late, teenagers or even young adults, it's just harder to teach them at that point in their lives. The other point is saving money in China is a lifestyle. Being frugal is a virtue that has been taught in their culture for thousands of years. The Chinese believe that the three greatest treasures one can have are love, frugality, and generosity. Frugality is defined as being economical with money or thriftiness. Most Chinese are proudly thrifty. There is no point eating out, for example, or spending money on expensive clothes or brands such as Gucci and the like. I'm not saying that you must deprive yourself of good things in life, but we must weigh between what is it that we actually need or want. It is a simple concept, and we all know this. But the difference is that for the Chinese, it is a lifestyle, not an occasional habit. Essentially, living on a lot less than you're able to afford. Having a mindset that says, yes, I can afford certain things, but I choose not to get them. In place of an expensive coffee, I'll instead make myself some coffee and invest the money meant for coffee into my emergency fund. The warning here is not to develop the mindset of scarcity, which may actually prevent you from your financial progress and can be generally unhealthy. This all comes down to budgeting. And the Chinese are fond of this sort of budgeting that they call the zero-based budget, where your whole budget is spent down to a zero. This includes everything you buy for your dates, savings, your essentials, a retirement fund, and everything. And finally, you get down to a zero. All your money is gone. Then for the next budget, you do the same thing. The benefit of this is it ensures that there is a thought on how every dollar is spent down to every cent. So it is just gives you a form of hyper accountability with your money. Another factor is that the Chinese population has always paid things for in cash, while in the West everything is paid with credit cards. This is similar to African societies, although fintech has disrupted the market. However, fintech in Africa is also based on the principle that people actually have the money, or they're putting credit on their phone, much like a debt card. But as a testament to the excellent saving method of the Chinese, when the government privatized the real estate industry, a lot of people remarkably were able to pay for their properties up front. And properties in China are not cheap. Ordinary citizens such as teachers and factory workers were able to produce savings 20 times their annual salary to pay for their homes. The Chinese are wary of dates. That's why they would rather pay for cash up front. And this is a good thing. You don't want to have a mountain of debts that you can't service. The other principle is that of multiple streams of income. It's now a popular principle. But with the Chinese, this has always been there. They are resourceful and entrepreneurial. The evidence is there to see. In China, small, medium-scale businesses or SMEs are everywhere. Even if you travel in other countries in the world, you find Chinese businesses everywhere. Yes, you have a job, but you also must develop a mindset of entrepreneurship. It is important to find a side hustle or hustles that will bring you extra money rather than over-reliance on one job and one source of income. The internet now is awash with information regarding side hustles and the like. People are trading in bitcoins, stocks, forex trade, e-commerce, freelance writing, and many other activities which are available online for you to explore. And here's another one. They haggle a lot. Well, and this is for some cultures, haggling is impolite. But in Asia, South America, and African countries, people routinely haggle. Well, I guess if you live in the West, things that you can actually haggle or maybe, let's say, negotiate for large purchases such as land, you can normally bring it down a little bit. But where you're able to haggle in everyday life, then yeah, you ought to haggle because that can save you quite a bit of money. It is also learning a negotiating skill that helps you in the long run to possibly maybe discuss some business deals in the future. Well, there you go. If you've made it this far, then please like and subscribe to African Boss and leave a comment below. Cheers, guys. I'll see you in my next video.